How's everybody doing today? Let's see. I always can never get this height of this thing just right. Let's try this one. See if that's a little better. I think it is. Let's give it a few minutes. Oh, I need to plug in my charger. I meant to do that before I got on live. So let's do that right quick. Sorry, guys. I meant to do that before I got on live, and I didn't do it. So let's see. It's Thursday, August the 4th. It's about 5:10. I did a post earlier and said I might go live between 5 and 6. So I know before when I went live, that's been a good time. So I hope everybody's doing good today. It's kind of been a weird day for me today. Like I was really upbeat, and it's funny. This just goes to show you how our mind affects us so much. So I felt led to do a blog today, and I had to take myself in the past instead of staying in the now moment. And so I had to go into the past and pick up where I left off at the last blog. And it's some really tough memories to be digging up and sharing. And when we think on things, they affect how we feel. I've talked about that in other videos. So I really had to search myself and say, okay, Wendy, let's come back to this now moment. I started to listen to some music, but I thought, no, I can do this. I can get my frame of mind back into the now moment. So I had to take myself, welcome to the live. I'm just going on and talking because I figured people watch it at the replay. But I was talking about how I had done a post earlier and did one of my blogs, and it was some really heavy stuff. And I was talking about how our mind, when we get on that kind of stuff, it just goes to show you how it affects our moods. So that was a pretty heavy blog. You may not have had a chance to read it yet, but it was a pretty heavy blog. And so I had said that I would come and go live between 5 and 6. And so after I wrote that blog, I was like, oh, Wendy, are you going to be able to do this? You got to come back to this now moment. Get out of those past memories. Get your mind now and let go of all of that emotion. Because I had to dig up memories to do writing, and it really will affect you. So I'm just like, okay, I'm coming to the now moment and go back to the kind of feeling I was having before I started writing. So today, my live is going to be about unity in our differences. You see unity and diversity a lot. There's a lot of different pictures with that. But I thought I would go with unity in our differences instead of diversity. Let's just talk about, it's really the same thing, but I just wanted to do that. So I felt led to talk about that today when I was praying this morning and thinking about what I could share about that. And talk about our journey that we're on. We're all at different places in our journey. We're all at different places in our awareness, our waking up, our presence of the now moment. Every one of us is at a different place, and that's okay. That's how things were designed. We all weren't meant to be at the same place. It's the same thing about the tapestry. So the thing that just really pressed upon my heart is we need to have more understanding and unconditional love in that area for our differences. Even myself, sometimes when I'm talking to somebody that believes different than me, or if somebody messages me, or if I read a post and it's different, if their belief is different from mine, sometimes I tend to just shut down and not even respond to the message or not even read the post. But that's not what we need to do. We need to come together in unity and be okay with the fact that we are not all in the same place in our journey. We all have not awakened to the same stuff yet. We all don't have the same beliefs. but we can all come together and say that we want to have unconditional love for each other, regardless if we are believers or not, which the most majority of the people that's going to be listening to this are believers. So that is the key thing that I really think is important today for us to remember. Just a message for today is to try to focus on where you can meet somebody, where you can have a common ground, instead of focusing on what you don't agree on. I don't know why we do that as human nature. We tend to focus on things that aren't right, or the negative, or where we differ at, and that's where we put our emphasis. And I've already talked about what you focus on is what you bring into your life. So if you focus on where you differ at, then you're not going to get along with that person. If you focus on the negative things, that's what you're going to bring into your life. So our key is that we want to live and have heaven here on earth. We want to have a wonderful experience and be in the now moment and bring in the wonderful good things that we can bring in. And one of the ways that we can do that is focusing on where we can have unity, those things. We can focus on that we're all on a path of growth. That's something we can all agree upon, right? And when somebody is not where you are in your walk, maybe just acknowledge either you've been there and you moved past it, or you haven't got there, and just say, we can disagree to agree. But what can we find that we can get along about? What can we talk about that we can agree about? And make that conversation be a positive thing instead of a negative thing. I think that we'll see a big effect in our daily lives if we'll do that. The other thing that I mentioned in there, what do you focus on? Do you focus on the positive things or the negative things? So like when you get up in the morning, do you think about what's good about today? Or do you think about what's bad about today, what's bothering you? I know it's human nature to think about what's bothering you, what's not right. But I believe if you'll start focusing on what is right, what is good, and let all those other things fall aside, that you'll see more positive and more good coming into your life. Like say for example, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to use one of my friends. I was reading some of her posts today, and she was saying, don't do this and don't do that, which I do that myself too. I ask people, don't do this or don't do that. But what if we said, I would love it if when you post on my wall, you posted this or post about that. Believe it or not, when you post the negative, some people don't even read that post and they go on. They don't even know. They can tell by the beginning of your post it's not something good, and they won't even read it, so they're going to keep doing what you're doing. But the thing about it is, when you give somebody, I learned this in management, and it's a proven fact from different studies. When you give somebody a negative, if you tell them about something negative, it takes 3 positive things to overcome that negative. So let me just use this for example. When I was in management and I had to do reviews for my employees, if there was something that they weren't doing good or doing exactly right, I would always look for what was the thing that was the most concern, just one thing. But I learned to be able to get them to overcome that and make an improvement, I had to give them at least 3 things that they were doing good, because they need to realize, they needed to feel that they had self-worth and that the work that they were doing was good. For us to want to improve, we got to feel good about ourselves. If everything's negative, why do we even care, or why would we even try? It defeats a person when all they get is negative input. It just gives a defeated feeling. It gives a negative connotation. It's not an uplifting and life-bringing message. That's what I talk about, is our words are either giving life to us, or they're bringing death or sadness to us. And so if that's something that we can just really stay conscious about, is when we do bring things up, if we do have something that really needs to be addressed, there's something negative going on and you really want to address it, do it. but also bring in some positive with it. Start out with some positive. Put that one little thing maybe in the middle and then end up with some positive. These are just ideas that I have used throughout my life, and I've seen it's really had a positive impact. And I hope that maybe these are things that you can use to have a positive impact. But, and maybe somebody else has got some ideas you can share with us in the comments. But the big thing is to find where we can have the unity, the positive, where we're alike, and focus on that and bring in positivity. Talking about earlier, I was talking about the blog that I did today. It was a really heavy one where I talked about brokenhearted and betrayed, but God's grace is sufficient. During that time, if you haven't read it yet, I hope you'll go and read it. And my blog is on my website or on my Facebook wall. You can find my website on my profile. But if you'll read that, I was really going through a tough time, and I had some situations going on that I needed to figure out how to handle those. I had not really been recognized. At that time, I had really not been along in my journey that far and having a relationship with a Creator. I was 31 years old, and I had only recognized who the Creator was and that He lived inside of me when I was 27. And so I was just 4 years in my journey. I was new to going to church. And of course, I don't want to get into that here and bring it in. But one thing that I have always tried to do was to keep my lines of communication open with the Creator. It didn't matter what other people told me. It doesn't matter what I read. I always go to the Creator and pray about it and ask in my heart, can you lead me? What should I do? And in that blog, I was talking about 2 really bad situations I was going through at the time when my first husband was terminally ill, and then after he died. There was 2 situations. I could have really sued a neurologist, and I could have sued his ex-business partner. And we're talking about a lot of money, But I'm really, honestly, I have learned all through my life, it's not about money. It's about the experience. It's about the journey. I could have definitely used it. Rick's sons could have used that money to help them. But when I prayed, God always would just tell me, Wendy, I got you. It's going to be okay. You don't need it. You're going to be all right. So that was a really tough time for me. And being upset with both the surgeon and his best friend, I'll address that more in another blog. It really took a toll on me. Having that in my heart and thinking on the negative, it was really rough. And I'm glad I made the decision not to do a legal case against them. The money would have been great, but I don't, sometimes I think money can be a detriment to us. At that point in my life, it might have brought more problems in my life instead of goodness. Hey, Janie, how are you? Thank you for watching. Today, just kind of sharing about, I hope you'll go back and watch the whole blog if you're just coming in. I'm almost probably through with it. It's just a short blog. I didn't want to take too long. I'm trying to do shorter blogs. Hey, Devorah. But just talking about our journey and where we're all at different places. And we're all at different levels of our awareness and our awakening. And how I found it, it's just so important that we stay in unity. I see a lot of stuff where people post and even talking in other communities. Instead of us focusing on where we can agree at, we're focusing on where we're different at. And I believe that we can see a difference in our lives if we always try to keep things positive. Instead of arguing with somebody and saying, I'm past that, you need to do, just say, I was there. I was there with you at one time, but I've moved past that. And look and see where you can find the area where you're at now that you can agree upon, So, and like I said earlier, just looking at the positive versus the negative. If you'll just take the time to go back and look at the whole live, you'll get that message too. But I'm not going to keep everybody long today. I just wanted to do that short message that was put on my heart. And I love you all, and I thank you for taking time to come in here. Does anybody have any question or anything while you're here? There's not many people in here. But if anybody has a question, I'll be glad to answer it for you. It's Friday Eve. That's what I always call Thursday. So looking forward to the weekend. I hope everybody's got some good plans, something fun to do. Thank you, Miss DeVore. I love you. I can always feel your energy. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm bad because I'm country, not pronouncing people's name right. But I love you so much, and I thank you for your support that you've been showing me on my wall and in my lives. But I'm going to say a prayer before I get off here, and like I always love to do. I just come to you now, my precious God that lives in my heart, that is me, that whoever might listen to this live, that if they're at the sound of my voice, that you touch them wherever they're at, meet them wherever they're at in their journey. You know, these are difficult times that a lot of people are going through. Everything is just not hunky-dory like it is with some people. A lot of people are facing things that I faced some 25 years ago. And Father, I just pray that you would meet them where they're at and touch their heart and give them a word and give them direction to help them find where they can have positivity in their life, even though negative things might be going on, that you'll help them recognize what little things they can make a change in that will bring an uplifting into their lives. Yes, we do have to deal with them hard times and process them, not escape them. But do that and then bring ourselves into the now moment and look at what's good in life. We're breathing. We've got you. Those are two things that we can always focus on. I love each one of my followers and friends, and I just pray a God's blessing on you, that in your journey that you find your mission and that you're able to start working that, and that you're able to manifest the things that you need. I love you all. Amen. I love everybody. I hope everybody has a great day. Okay, great. I'm glad I'm saying it right. Love you bunches and see you soon.